Game 1 of the playoffs, the Fever had nearly 2 million viewers tuning in, while all the other games had around 400,000. Even the WNBA Countdown, which was aired before the Indiana Fever game, had more viewers than two of the
league versus Caitlin Clark. And that is just absolutely false. It is unfair to the women that have been there building this league to this moment so that Caitlin Clark's popularity.
Caitlin Clark will be off the court for an astonishing 23 days. And with her absence, league viewership is already declining after her playoff loss.
We're not going to be seeing Caitlin Clark play basketball again for another 200 days. An ESPN reporter said at the end of the Indiana Fever Connecticut Sun Game 2 that Caitlin Clark almost definitely will not be playing basketball this offseason. So no overseas and no 3-on-3 unrivaled.
Fans are officially fed up with the WNBA, with many declaring they won't be watching. But let's break down exactly how Caitlin Clark has impacted the league this year. These numbers will blow your mind.
23 season, the WNBA had grown by 40% viewership from 2022 to 2023. But with Caitlin Clark's arrival, it's grown by 400% viewership. What that means is if the WNBA were continue to grow at the rate it grew from 22 to 23, it would take until 2028 to do what Caitlin Clark did.
Believe it or not, Caitlin Clark's announcement stunned fans. Now, analysts like Molly Karam and Monica McNutt on ESPN are about to see who the real face of the WNBA is. With Caitlin out, attendance is set to hit an all-time low this season.
If Caitlin, in every post-game press conference, she came out and talked about the kind of hateful comments that she was getting. If she came out and told everybody the reason why she has personal security that goes with her every single place, it's a lot. And so it's not just Caitlin Clark fans or Indiana Fever fans. It is not all going in one direction.
Caitlin Clark, the Iowa superstar, has officially wrapped up her rookie season in the WNBA, and there's no denying the impact she's had on the league. The electrifying guard, known for her deep-range shooting and elite playmaking, captivated fans all season, shattering viewership and attendance records wherever she played. Unfortunately, her debut season ended with a tough playoff loss to the Connecticut Sun, cutting short what many hoped would be a deep postseason run. Still, Clark's influence on the league was undeniable. She was the driving force behind the Fever's league-best attendance, both at home and on the road.
Wrong team. She's got the wrong skill set to handle the physicality of that league. And she's a rookie, targeted by society, targeted by her looks, targeted by her reputation, targeted by the disrespect that they've shown to the WNBA. She said, no, they're expecting this rookie class to be perfect. This rookie class isn't even one of the best rookie classes in the league.
Whenever Caitlin Clark stepped on the court, arenas were packed with fans. Many traveling across the country just to witness her deep threes, pinpoint passes, and elite basketball IQ. Her performances were pure magic, drawing massive crowds and skyrocketing the Fever's national visibility. As a result, Indiana became one of the most watched teams in the WNBA. But now, with Clark out of the playoffs, the league is in serious trouble.
It's definitely real. I mean, we can all see that. However, experiencing it in person is totally different. I was at the Fever and Indiana game last night, and the amount of 22s that I saw on the way to the arena and inside the Capital One Arena might as well have just been a home game for Caitlin Clark. Not Indiana, Caitlin Clark. The thing is, that didn't surprise me. But what did surprise me was how packed the game was.
And it's not just Fever fans feeling the void. Viewership across the WNBA is already taking a noticeable hit. With Caitlin Clark out of the playoffs, weekend matchups, typically some of the highest-rated games of the season, are expected to see a significant drop. Fans weren't just tuning in for their favorite teams. They were tuning in for Clark. Her electrifying performances made her must-see TV, elevating her beyond just a standout rookie. She became a true superstar. Her absence isn't just a loss for the Fever. It's a major blow to the entire WNBA, as she was the driving force behind the league's surging audience.
Departure, do we think that these new WNBA fans are going to stick around for the rest of the playoffs? The Liberty Aces series might be one that draws some numbers. The disparity between 1.8 million and around 400,000 is wild, especially with football season being in full.
It's rare for a rookie to shake up an entire league, but Caitlin Clark is anything but ordinary. From the moment she stepped onto a WNBA court, she demanded attention. Her electrifying performances immediately placed her in conversations typically reserved for all-time greats, with many comparing her impact to LeBron James and Stephen Curry in the NBA. Clark's presence wasn't just felt by Fever fans. She became a league-wide sensation. Her ability to dominate offensively while orchestrating plays made her a true unicorn on the court. The fact that so many fans have already tuned out of the WNBA playoffs without her speaks volumes about the massive influence she's had in just one season.
Not talk viewership, let's talk ticket sales. Bear with me. Ticket sales grew in 2023 by 16% from 2022. Ticket sales have grown by 93% in 2024. What that means is without Caitlin Clark, the WNBA would have taken till 2029 or 2030 to get to where Caitlin Clark has gotten.
Looking back at Caitlin Clark's season, it's clear that fatigue played a major role in the Fever's inability to make a deeper playoff run. Clark endured an exhausting schedule, playing nearly as many games as NBA stars in a single season. In a brutal stretch, she went from leading Iowa to the NCAA finals straight into the WNBA without much time to rest or recover. Given that grueling workload, it's no surprise she looked drained by season's end. Yet, even in those physically taxing moments, Clark continued to deliver elite performances, showcasing her endurance, basketball IQ, and sheer willpower. Against the Connecticut Sun, she left everything on the floor, putting up 25 points, 9 assists, and bringing her trademark fire to the court. But despite her heroic effort, it wasn't enough to keep the Fever's playoff run alive. Clark didn't shy away from the moment, trying to carry her team in crucial stretches. However, basketball is a team game, and the Fever's inconsistency on both ends of the floor ultimately sealed their fate.
Caitlin comes millions and millions and millions of more eyeballs. And with those millions and millions and millions of more eyeballs, unfortunately, is going to come some people who are not.
Fouls became an unfortunate storyline in Caitlin Clark's final game, with several questionable calls going against her. Fans and analysts alike voiced their frustration, with many questioning whether she was being officiated differently due to her rising star status. These calls disrupted her rhythm and made it harder for her to take full control of the game. Yet, despite the setbacks, Clark remained composed. She kept pushing forward, determined to will her team into the next round. However, without consistent offensive support from her teammates and a little more luck on defense, her heroic efforts weren't enough to overcome the Suns' relentless play.
Things that this group accomplished that, a lot of people probably didn't think was possible, one, to start the season, and two, after the start we had to the season. So, it'll definitely be probably a little weird for me over the course of the first couple of weeks, and then I'm sure I'll get bored and pick up a basketball again. So,
for now, Caitlin Clark has decided to take a well-deserved break. There's been no indication that she'll join a European team for the off-season or participate in 3-on-3 competitions. Instead, she's choosing to recharge, both mentally and physically, after an exhausting season. While many players use the off-season to sharpen their skills overseas, Clark is prioritizing rest, and rightfully so. She played nearly as many games as an NBA star this year, all while carrying the immense pressure of being a franchise player as a rookie. Beyond the physical toll, she also faced the emotional and mental strain of leading her team and constantly being in the national spotlight. Clark's impact on the league is undeniable. Her meteoric rise brought a surge of new fans to women's basketball, and without her in the mix, engagement is already dipping. It's not just Fever fans stepping away. The entire WNBA is seeing a decline in viewership as many tuned in just to watch her play. Clark's electrifying style and magnetic personality gave the league the kind of attention it hadn't seen in years. The WNBA has long searched for a true face of the game, and in Caitlin Clark, they finally found one.
Don't want it to grow if it's certain people at the face. And there is still this undertone of jealousy that for some reason I cannot get around calling it anything else but that, because I don't know what else it could be. I thought it was going to get better this season, but it hasn't. There are still people who seemingly, to me, feel like they just don't want Caitlin.